What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you to today's video. I've got Garrett from Born to Be Red with me and Ken from Mid-Level Media. Garrett, is
Hey,
that a Godzilla shirt?
Oh yeah. Woo.
Dude, that is sick. Thanks for joining me tonight. So we were talking earlier about this classic film, 1990s, The Willies. Holy shit. I've never seen this before. Garrett, you guys saw it when you were kids, right?
Yeah, I actually have a pretty funny story with it. And I think I talked about this in probably like one of my first couple videos. I think I did like 10 movies that need an upgrade, or 10 movies that I watch around Halloween, or 10 movies that I enjoy that other people don't talk about. It was in one of those or two of those videos. But yeah, when I was a kid, my neighbor Ashley, who was the same age, around Halloween, once we started to get a little older, we used to rent a bunch of different movies and just kind of go out, do our trick or treating. We were kind of getting a little to that age where we didn't want to do it anymore. And we used to just go to her house and just like bang out movies. Like I saw Halloween 2 for the first time, I think, doing that. But one of the movies we rented was The Willies, and we bought it based on VHS. We rented it based on just the cover and the name alone. We're like, oh, The Willies, and it's got like a looks like they're camping outside, and we're like, oh, that looks like it should be cool. And it was kind of bonkers, man. And it's always been something that I loved ever since. That's kind of the first time I saw it, and there's some scenes in this that you just never forget, I think. And it's been one that I bought on DVD early on when I was collecting, and it's just one of those things I try to watch. Every few Halloweens I find myself throwing it in there. But it's cool that you just discovered this thing.
When I rewatched it tonight, right before we came in here, and I don't remember anything. Like maybe I only watched the first 15 minutes of it when I was a kid because I remember nothing. I remember the old man in the haunted house, the fried rat, and the dog in the microwave, and that's like the only parts I remember. Because all of the other stuff I could not remember.
I call him the Willy Monster because I don't have a better name for him. He is phenomenal looking. So I was like, I'm praying to God that he's actually in this movie. So I get ready to watch this movie, and I see it's on Tubi. So right away, everybody, it's free on Tubi if you want to watch it. And I guess you call it an anthology movie, right? Because it's basically the three kids in their tent, and they're talking with each other, and they're just trying to tell each other campfire stories and see who has the scarier story. And the beginning, you know what this feels like in the very beginning? It feels like Freddy's Nightmares. Like it has the tone and feel of a Freddy's Nightmares episode in the beginning with the woman at the Tennessee Sakali Chicken or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
It's the most random name for the chicken place. This is playing into like, it's so funny. It's so hammy. This woman is like so excited to eat fried chicken. She gets a 15-piece bucket. One woman, 15-piece chicken.
What's she say? Like, can I have a shake or something like too? Like some kind of
chocolate shake. She says, yeah, I want a 15-piece and a chocolate shake. And then here's the kicker. It was $8 for all that. And today that would cost like freaking $45.
Oh, man, ridiculous. Yeah. KFC is expensive, man. Like, it really is. Like, for a bucket, like, it's double digits, no doubt.
Sits down, she puts her napkin on her shirt, and then she bites into a rat. And I gotta be honest with you, as crude as it is, that really grossed me out. When she sits the rat down back on her tray and you see the guts of it, and then that's it. It's like that. It's over that fast.
The first 3 sequences are all like the first 15 minutes of the movie, and then it goes into the credits, and then you get into the two main ones.
I've never seen that happen in a movie before, where it's like 3 mini episodes and then the big episode.
And I thought they were going to do 3 larger ones, but then when we got to the second one, I was like, oh, this one's going forever, so I guess there's not going to be another one.
But I liked it. It actually trimmed all the fat off of those stories, and that was great. So the second story is about the old man in the amusement park. Visually, that was fantastic. With like the zombie guy and like this like hillbilly guy with the axe, and this old man's having his heart attack. I loved that so much. Just the visuals, because it was all obviously 1990. But this feels like such an 80s movie, because technically 1990 is still aesthetically extremely 80s. It's not like the 90s just changed overnight. The best thing about this movie is that Clu Gulager is in it, not very much, and James Karen.
There's a lot of great tension in that microwave scene because they kept cutting back and forth between her face and the microwave with the poodle inside, and I just kept waiting for it to pop because I remember it happening, and it doesn't happen until after the microwave stops. And then it even goes further than that. It waits until she walks over to the microwave and it's getting ready to open up the door, and then it explodes. I always remember it because it sticks out in my mind because it's not blood. Like it's like a tan goo. When I was a kid, I remember thinking to myself, is that really what dog's blood looks like?
That scene is like one of the rat one that we talked about earlier. And the fact that with the rat one is that it wasn't just a rat, like it was legit fried, like the rat got in the fryer and it came out like the chicken. So it's one of those things where you're like, holy shit, like at any point I eat something like this, like who knows what the hell this thing could be, right? Because it wasn't just like a furry rat. Like she thought it was a piece of fried chicken, but it was shaped like basically like a rat fell in the fryer and they served it to her. That creeped me out and grossed me out. And this one was the other big one too, is that she puts that dog in there for a while, right? Like that thing,
it's 3 minutes.
Thing, it lasted pretty good for three minutes. That thing like lasted in there. So yeah, that was another one that I remember after those two scenes, I looked at my friend Ashley and I'm like, what are we watching here?
You know, what's crazy is that it's PG-13, and that scene, even though what Ken's talking about, like it's a mixture of like goo and a little bit of red, it is fucking nasty. That scene was disgusting when she opens up that microwave and it just shoots everywhere. And it's so manic. She's just like telling you're gonna be dry. Like she bathed her dog, which they didn't even dampen. Like the funny thing is the dog is completely dry, you know, and she's like, you're gonna get dried off just in a second. Like she just gave the dog a bath or something, and it's just dry ass, you know, white poodle in the microwave. It's just nuts. That you can't do that today. Like, how many people would have a problem with that today? Are you kidding me?
A lot, yeah.
Now, did you guys recognize the one of the kids that was in the treehouse? Not in the treehouse, in the tent telling stories.
Yeah, how do you get that gig, anyways?
Sean Astin.
What is he, fresh off Goonies? And it's like, hey, you're gonna do this movie here.
They pretty much let you know that this is a Goonies sequel. Because they reference the pirate ship in the cave.
Oh my God, that's right. They do, don't they? That's weird, right? Did they call him a name? Did he have a name in this? Like, did they say Mikey? Did they say like John? Like, or is it just left to the imagination?
I think his name is Michael, because and here in the plot right here, it says at this point, this is after the poodle souffle story. At this point, Michael says he knows a story that they haven't heard yet. Kyle asks if it's about his friends who found the pirate ship in that old cave, a reference to Astin's earlier film, The Goonies. So yeah, this is definitely, you know, a spinoff or just whatever, an offshoot, a Goonies universe film.
I was like today's years old that I put that multiverse together. Like, I remember it, but then at the same time, like I didn't remember his name or anything. So like, honestly, like this is basically like the same kid here. This is,
I mean, the colors and the font of the Willies is the same, right?
Yeah, I think it's very, very similar.
And isn't it interesting that the pirate they found was One-Eyed Willie? This is the Willies, right? It's a lot of connection there. A lot of connection. That's pretty cool, man. I didn't really put two and two together, which is this kind of like unofficial Goonies sequel we got here, right? Not the Nintendo game Goonies 2, but this is what we got.
After we get the 3 mini stories, we get into what's called Bad Apples. And here's a plot synopsis. A young boy named Danny struggles at his school with bullies and an overbearing, impatient teacher. The only one who shows him any sympathy is the school's custodian, Mr. Jenkins. While on duty, Mr. Jenkins disappears in the bathroom, and Danny enters later to find Mr. Jenkins' body with a detached head and a humanoid monster lurking in the stall. Danny tells his teacher, who goes into the bathroom to investigate, only to be killed by the monster. Danny lures the bullies into the bathroom, and they too are killed. It is soon revealed that Mr. Jenkins was the monster all the time, with his body being a disguise. Mr. Jenkins moves to another school where it is revealed that he is still targeting bullies. And guys, trust me, this is not something you need to worry about being spoiled, because first of all, the movie's over 30 years old. Second of all, it doesn't ruin a shred of anything. I promise you. You see all this coming a mile away, and it's so fun to watch. So we're not spoiler review. I mean, this was the highlight for me, seeing that, because like my biggest thing is if you show me a monster on the front of a VHS cover, DVD cover, it better fucking be in the movie. It better be in there, or don't piss me off. Thankfully, the Willie monster, I thought it lived up. I liked it a lot. It was skinnier than I thought it was going to be. It looked really good. But yeah, that was one practical effect. That was where all the budget went clearly in this thing. So the big Willie monster, why the Willie monster is just hanging in the bathroom stall is a question that remains to be seen. I don't know, but that's where he wasn't just in the bathroom. He was in the handicap stall too. You know,
into the room. Yeah, he needed the room. That's why.
Well, he had that quick exit up above that he could just latch onto and pull himself out if he needed to.
Story that you just said, like, think about the plot and the story. Like, that to me is like prime, like, what a horror movie should be. Like, just think about everything you just said. Like, kid was getting bullied. The janitor wants to help him. You know, he finds the body. Then other people are killed. And then all of a sudden, the big reveal happens. He lures the bullies in there. Da, da, da. Like, and then all of a sudden, you come to find out, like, wow, it was all a disguise. This was, like, to me, that's like prime, like, what I like in like horror. Like, it's a great story for a short little story that we got. But the idea of it, where it was like, hey, this was a disguise and this is what you got, like, that's money for me.
You know what? There's a few things I can't believe I overlooked. First of all, one of my favorite actors from late 80s horror movies, and my wife loves him from Twin Peaks, Dana Ashbrook, has a very small moment in the first sequence. He's the one that orders chicken nuggets on the go with his girlfriend at the restaurant. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah,
It's
I do
Dana
remember.
Ashbrook from Eternal
And the
Living
guy-
Dead 2.
The guy gives him like a weird look because he's like, "I'll take it to go," and the guy's like, "Oh, all right." Like he's gonna go like eat him when he gets laid or whatever. Yeah.
Kimmy Robertson from Twin Peaks 2. She's the voice. She's the voice, person at the haunted house attraction. You know her voice, the girl from the Twin Peaks.
She's got a distinctive voice. Yeah.
Yeah, so she was in that too. So we got 2 Twin Peaks alumni. Well, they hadn't been in Twin Peaks yet, but they were about to. So it's always weird when you see those people show up in movies. Because Kimmy Robertson, she shows up when you least expect it. I can remember seeing her in Leprechaun 2.
Kids' films nowadays, they don't feel dangerous anymore like this one. That's what I miss about movies like this when I was a kid. It's just the level of danger and intensity. It's like the kids lock in his bullies in that bathroom to get eaten by a monster. Like that's dirty. Like he's supposed to be the good guy of the movie, the protagonist of this segment. I wanted to shout out to another actress, Kathleen Freeman, who plays Miss Titmarch. She was in Gremlins too.
She was.
She was the cook. I'm gonna make my tuna noodle casserole. The
Great
best
job at
part
just
was when the
being pissed
monster starts attacking her. She starts hitting it with a book.
He grabs the book from her and starts beating her over the head with a book after she hit him. It's ridiculous. But
I told you,
it's
this
great.
story is
I
great,
love
man.
it so much. There is blood. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy thinking about it now because it is PG-13. And, this is 1990. And if you remember the year prior, how many movies got gutted by the MTAA. So it's kind of weird how this movie's rated PG-13. I would have figured it'd be rated R, quite frankly. Story after this, guys, this is the weirdest one for me. I really don't understand it still. It's called Flyboy. It's about a fat, chubby, like it's like about really like a heavy set kid with like what kind of like what's his nickname? Like somebody was saying something. He has like a weird mouth. He looks like
Donkey Lips.
Donkey Lips. That
was him. Yeah, that was him from. He was in Salute Your Shorts and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah,
he loves flies and he loves collecting flies, and it's just really weird. And the weirdest part of the movie to me is how nice the mom is. It's like she's like, "Don't be down there too long. Get ready for dinner. Oh, and we're having your favorite fried chicken." And he's like, "Whatever." And it's like, he's a big old boy. You think he'd be excited for that chicken, but he's just like, whatever. It was just, I don't know.
Well, I think that maybe it was kind of a wraparound. Yeah, where all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's gonna get that fried chicken that lady had.
Yeah, this segment, honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of until it got to like maybe the last 5-10 minutes. I don't know. It just felt like it went on and on way too long.
It's just like, what was his deal? Like, he just loved collecting flies. Yeah. And then like setting them up on little miniature displays, and his neighbor grew oversized vegetables. It was really bizarre.
I remember Donkey Lips being in this, and very well. I think that was one of the first things I said to you when you told me you watched it. Like, I forget. I remember this story, but I have no recollection of how this thing ends. I remember the flies, I remember the vegetable thing, but I don't remember he had a neighbor, right? An old man, correct?
Yeah, the initial payoff is really good, but then they take it a step further, and I didn't like that.
Let me give you the synopsis right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Gordy Belcher is a reclusive, mischievous kid who often plays pranks on others, overly obsessed with flies. becomes fascinated with a secret manure created by Farmer Spivey, which causes crops to grow and increase sizes. And they make these. It's funny. The prop department made this big ass like styrofoam carrot. It looks so shitty. He often steals the manure from the old man, much to Spivey's chagrin. After being kicked out of school after tricking a girl into eating flies, Gordy stops by Spivey's farm, where the old man offers him a special manure with new ingredients as a way to quote-unquote call a truce. Gordy goes home to find his mother has thrown away all his flies, except for 3 he kept in a hiding spot. He places them in a jar of manure, which causes them to grow into an immense size overnight. They attack Gordy when he wakes up, and the boy's parents find him with bloody stumps where his arms were. Gordy awakens the next day with prosthetic replacements, and he's just like got these weird prosthetic, like almost like they're not fly arms, but he's got really short stubs with like hooks, and he's sitting on a hammock and the camera just pans out on top of him. And the whole thing is just bizarre, and none of it really makes any sense, to be honest with you. It's the lowest point of this movie to me, but it's not boring. It's just fucking weird.
I remember what I said about like that first story or that second story that we just talked about. I'm like, look, everything about this and the way you described it, like this is what I love. Like it makes so much sense. Like this one seems like it's like, who wrote this? Like his boy likes flies, there's manure, he makes girls eat flies. Like it was just like it's all over the map. I feel like it's not like a straightforward story. It's like, what?
And after that, the brothers explain that Gordy is now made. This is back after. So after that happens, we go back to the kids in the tent, and Michael, who is kind of like Sean Astin, is telling them everything he told the kids were true, and that Uncle Henry is actually his dad, I think. No, his Uncle Henry is Mr. Jenkins, who is James Karen. James Karen comes into the tent with the boys, rips his face off, and proves to them that he was the Willies monster. And that's how it ends. Clu Gulager has a small role. I think he was the principal in the school. And the reason he's in here is because Brian Peck directed this, which we'll talk about real quick. But that is the Willies. And even though I never saw this as a kid, without a doubt, I felt like a kid watching this. I would so recommend this to anybody who's just in love with 80s horror, because it's, even though it's 90, make no mistake, this is a 1980s style horror film. It's very charming. It's obviously very low budget, but like where the makeup effects need to succeed, they do. I mean, the Willies monster is so cool, and I don't think I think on not having the scrutiny of HD actually benefits watching the movie this way. Again, it's not HD, but it's watchable. It's not like you can't watch it, and I just loved it. I can't get the movie out of my head. It was so fun. But guys, I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way, especially Ken. You after revisiting it for the first time in a long time.
I thought it was a ton of fun. I liked it a lot. It's like a mix of Creep Show and The Goonies.
Stories seem like something you would see maybe like on an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, but these were obviously a little bit more. They weren't as tame as some of those, but it just kind of had that feel like these short stories. And I definitely want to go rewatch it again because, like I said, it's probably been a couple of years since I've seen it. And I don't know how readily. Oh yeah, you told me it's readily available on DVD, but only in like a double pack right now.
Yeah, and I ordered it just so I can own the film in case Tubi pulls it off of their site, because that's the only place I think you can stream it. But it's on YouTube. But you know how that goes too. That could get pulled any day now too. So it's on YouTube if you want to watch it. And it's on Tubi. Just be prepared to watch a lot of soap commercials.
Say I mentioned to you when we were chatting about it is. Man, I would love to see like a Vinegar Syndrome or somebody else put this out in a nice edition, just upgrade it a little bit. And you kind of said you think you know why maybe no one's touched it.
It's very likely. I can't prove it. I mean, and I can't say it's 100% the reason, but I don't think Brian Peck directing it and writing it makes it any easier to get put out. And it was distributed by Force Majeure Productions. Now, what umbrella that falls under now, I have no idea. That's who it's distributed by. Obviously, it's very low budget. But with the mix of that and Brian Peck, I can kind of understand why maybe it's lost in the shuffle. And it's very possible, who knows where the masters are for this movie, too. But I think that is a perfect blend of, getting lost in the shuffle and not getting an upgrade is those three reasons. And because of Brian Peck is why James Cameron was in this movie and Clu Gulager, which is awesome. And, but it's kind of unfortunate because I would love to have this movie on Blu-ray, even if it stayed 4:3 like it is and not widescreen. I would still love to see this in HD. But unfortunately, all we have now is a DVD available. Now you have a cooler DVD, Garrett. You've got like one from like 2005.
I don't know what year it was, but it was early on into the DVD came out. It was an early one. It's just that one. The cover art's kind of meh, like that. It doesn't have the cool cover art like you showed. It was like kind of a generic cover art, to be honest.
Who put it out back then?
Your DVD it's Echo Bridge was the home video company. So I don't even know if they're a company anymore, Echo Bridge. Maybe they are. I mean, I remember that name, but if you guys haven't seen it, listen to this video, watching this video, I promise it's worth a watch. It's like, if you like anthologies, you'll love it. If you just like charming, little sleepy, relaxing horror movies, this is money. I loved it so much. And I'm a pretty hard sell with kid actors in movies, but this felt like, to me, from like the chicken scene felt straight out of Freddy's Nightmares. Freddy could have popped out of the table and it really would have worked right there.
Yeah,
It had that feel. So I think it's awesome. And yeah, that's the Willies for you guys. Any last thoughts on the Willies?
Well, I think with, Halloween approaching this year, maybe it's something you guys all add to your watch list for sure between either now and then, because like I said, that was the first Halloween night was the first time I watched it, probably early 90s. I'm thinking maybe like 92 to 94 ish, that era. But yeah, I think it would be a cool watch for Halloween this year.
Yeah, gather your friends around the TV and give each other the Willies.
All right. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see y'all next time. Thank you to all my supporters on Patreon. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, and music, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month.